Thank you all for being here. Welcome to the campus. If you don't work already on this campus, or if you're coming from the South Campus, we love to have you here. All the opportunities we get to see you, so we appreciate the fact that you're here. And welcome. This is a very happy occasion, as you know. It's the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Lillian Kopenhaver Center for the Advancement of Women in Communications. I guess I should have introduced myself. I'm Raul Reis, the Dean of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication. It's a pleasure to have you all here. And I want to take a second to recognize a few of the distinguished guests that are joining us today. President Mark Rosenberg, Trustee Delano Gray, Provost Wartzog, Vice Provost Steve Mall, Senior Vice President for University Advancement, Howard Lipman, and all of you are distinguished colleagues, faculty, staff, students, alumni. Thank you for joining us today. We are very happy. Vice President Larry Lunsford, and we are very happy to welcome you here. We are here to recognize a significant gift, once again, which is an investment in the future of mass communication in this country and globally, really. The Lillian Kopenhaver Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication. It's a very timely and important step in the right direction in the fight against inequality. The New York Times columnist Nicholas Kristof wrote recently that in America, only 17% of Fortune 500 board seats are held by women. That's about 3%. So we have come a long way, I think, in the last 50 years in terms of gender equality. But as you know, we still have a long way to go. And I think this center, again, is a step in the right direction of correcting some of those gaps and some of that inequality. We couldn't be happier with this gift and with the center and the fact that we are opening the center today. As a matter of fact, even before the center opened, we already had our first webinar that was attended by people from all over the country. We had Mindy Marquez, the editor of the Miami Herald, the first Latina to head a newspaper in the country. She did the first webinar. So that goes to show the importance of the center and what we are trying to accomplish here in the school. But today marks a new chapter in the life of the center and in the life of the school. And I thank especially Dr. Kopenhaver for her vision and for her commitment to the school and the university on this important cause. So now, the moment kind of what we are waiting for, the plaque for the center will be unveiled by the President Rosenberg and Dr. Kopenhaver.
And this plaque reads, the Lillian Kopenhaver Center, dedicated to the legacy of Lillian Kopenhaver for her tireless commitment to the advancement of women in communication and for her leadership in the future of mass communication education, May 30th, 2013. Madam Lillian. These are not big enough, ladies and gentlemen, but you know, we've had some budget cuts, so we...
Together? Ready?
Provost, get your hands up, everybody. Okay.
Ready?
1, 2, 3. Whoa. Yeah!
So everybody's invited to come inside, and we'll continue the program inside. It's probably a little cooler inside, so you all appreciate that. Please have a seat.
Very nice.
Thank you.
What's in order?
I did.
Okay.
You should have seen it before it was a mess.
And now I have the distinct honor of introducing you to another champion of our school. The first FIU faculty member to ascend to the university presidency, Mark B. Rosenberg, has over 35 years of higher education leadership. Dr. Rosenberg was one of the principal architects of FIU's growth and expansion during the past decade. He has served as Chancellor of the State University System of Florida, and I'm honored to introduce the 5th President of FIU, Dr. Mark Rosenberg.
Thank you, Dean. As you recount that triptych, I think about as we're standing here, about the incredible things that have been accomplished in our School of Journalism and Mass Comm. And the truth be told, most, if not all, had a connection, had a push, had a pull, had a thought, had guidance, had leadership from Lillian Lodge Kopenhaver. And so, in many respects, the opportunity to move forward with a new Center for Women in Communication is, it's not the end of an incredible career here, but it's the beginning of the continuation of what Lillian has done, what she stood for, and in many ways what we all aspire to. And I just want to call your attention to the wonderful little saying or aphorism here: be bold enough to use your voice, brave enough to listen to your heart, and strong enough to live the life you've always imagined. And in many ways, Lillian is the personification of that, given her incredible experience here at FIU. So when I think about Lillian, I think about a person who has many different facets to her identity and who she is. She's a developer. She developed both our Hearst Distinguished Lecture Series as well as our Professional Leadership Council of our school. She was recognized for that work as a developer with the FIU Distinguished University Service Medallion in 2011 as an exemplary role model of the industry and the community. And it's clear, as you understand her career, why Dr. Kopenhaver received that recognition. She's a pioneer, and if for no other reason than historically, the communication journalism industry has been dominated by men. She was frequently one of the few women to hold leadership positions and to make decisions in an otherwise very male-dominated profession. She's a pioneer not just in the creation of our university first, but then our School of Journalism and Mass Communication. She was the first woman president of the Miami chapter of the Society for Professional Journalists. She received the Wells Memorial Key in 1987 for her work with the Society. She earned the Outstanding Woman of the Year in 2009 and the Mass Communication Education Award. And as I said, she's a founder. She's given tireless service in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, in the first decade of the 21st century, and now in the second decade of the 21st century. Would so many of us could be privileged to not just have that distinguished record of service, but to invest it in one place and to see the fruits continually, day after day, month after month, year after year, decade after decade of that incredible investment. And now we have the Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication, not just any center, ladies and gentlemen, but the Lillian Lodge Kopenhaver Center. So Lillian, I want to thank you for your incredible commitment to the institution, but really to the students of the university and the School of Journalism and Mass Comm. During that incredible 3-decade run in journalism, I think we produced 8 Pulitzers. No doubt in my mind that you have your thumbprint, your fingerprints, your handprints on each and every one of those Pulitzers, and I want to say thank you to you for them. And there's no doubt in my mind that you are going to make waves and continue to have a huge impact, as we know would be possible if we created this center. So from the bottom of our hearts, on behalf of our board, our faculty, our professional staff, our students, our community, thank you for continuing to believe in our FIU. Congratulations.
Let's hear for Dr. Kopenhaver. If you want to say a few words, I know that you are very as excited as we are, so it's your turn.
Thank you. There it goes. Okay, hope it doesn't collapse. Thank you very much, Mark. Those were very, very nice words, and Dean Race as well. It was 40 years ago this month that I began my wonderful adventure as one of the founders of this extraordinary university. We have grown up together, and I have had the privilege of being a part of building a number of important entities here at FIU, including the School of Journalism and Mass Communication. The SJMC has been in the vanguard of journalism education nationally, and I feel very, very fortunate to have provided leadership both as Dean and Associate Dean for so many years. And today marks yet another milestone in my FIU adventure, one I've thought about for some time, a legacy to sustain my vision of providing opportunities for new generations of communicators, especially women, to achieve the goals of which they dream. The field of communications in all of its careers, journalism, broadcasting, public relations, advertising, new media, list goes on, has historically been dominated by men. Women have recently been making some progress in these careers, but we still have a long way to go to realize higher percentages that are at both the table and leading the way. In fact, of those in leadership positions in business today, only 14% are women. So we hope that our work here with the center will serve to increase those numbers and to have more women joining their male counterparts in climbing up that ladder. The mission of our center is to empower both women professionals and academics in all fields of communication in order to develop visionaries and leaders who can make a difference in their professions and in their communities. The center will mentor the next generation of young women scholars and professionals, develop an active research agenda, and serve as the go-to destination for information on women in media and communication education. Provide leadership training to help women embrace change, innovation, and entrepreneurialism, and recognize and celebrate the achievements of women leaders in communication. The Kopenhaver Center will enhance both the academic and professional growth of female scholars and professionals. Our work will prepare them to achieve new standards of excellence in the field of communication. It will help instill in them the confidence to strive to reach the top and empower them to welcome challenges enthusiastically with the attitude that each and every challenge is, in reality, an opportunity. The center at this school, at this university, at this particular time, is the perfect vehicle to achieve these goals. I am proud to add this capstone to my life's work by making the Lillian Lodge Kopenhaver Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication possible. I would also like to recognize some of the members of the Kopenhaver Center team who are here today. These are the folks who've been working very, very hard with me to bring us to where we can launch the center today, and I'd like to ask them to stand. Teresa, Marco, I'm looking around. Lillian in the back. Who else is here? Lynn, stand up. Ray, Sigal, you, Thank you so much to all of them. Please give them a round of applause. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming and sharing this very special day with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kopenhaver. Now I'd like to introduce you to today's guest speaker, Dr. Nancy Green. Dr. Green is currently the Executive Director for External Relations at Ivy Tech Community College, Richmond. Throughout her career, she has held several leadership positions at major companies, such as the Gannett Corporation, the nation's largest newspaper company, and Lee Enterprises, the nation's fourth largest daily newspaper company. Dr. Green is a strong supporter of our news center, and we are delighted to welcome her here for this special occasion.
Thank you all very much. This is a great honor to be here today. President Rosenberg, Provost Warsack, Dean Reese, Dr. Kopenhaver, students, faculty, staff, family, and friends. This is a great occasion, and Lillian has shared through her generous and loving spirit a lasting gift for women in communication. This is a gift that over time will grow in importance and significance for FIU and the world of communication scholarship and leadership. The Lillian Lodge Kopenhaver Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication will place FIU firmly at the apex of women and media issues. It will be a driving force for convening scholars to address issues women are grappling with in the workplace. It will be a gathering place for industry and academic leaders to mentor young women who are standing on the edge of achieving great things, and students who demonstrate real promise as future leaders in the academy and in the profession. And it will enable them to be doers and leaders and be able to move forward. For over 40 years, Lillian has, in her determined, organized, and pleasantly persistent way, removed barriers to leadership for women and minorities in all of the organizations in which she has become involved and work she has undertaken. She's nudged the shy but bright newcomers and included those who needed a little push to achieve good and even great things. And in addition to that, she's been able to address the powerful leaders of industry in tactful and respectful ways and brought about change for women in their organizations, support for journalism education, and students' First Amendment rights. And those tough leaders have always had the utmost respect and regard for Lil. The center will have the power and prestige to continue the legacy. Lillian always transforms every professional and academic organization into a more welcoming one for women and minorities, and puts them on their path to leadership. Lillian has, in her collaborative and thorough way, set the table for women to excel in a more hospitable atmosphere than it was when she arrived. She was the first woman president, as Mark has said, of the Greater Miami chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists, and the first woman president of the Community College Journalism Association, and the first woman president of the Community College Journalism Association, and the first woman president of the Student Press Law Center, and one of only two women, as we noted, in the 77-year history of the Society of Professional Journalists to be honored with the Wells Key. That's a rare achievement, a very rare achievement. The center surely will carry on Lillian's work and leadership with the same vigor and success. The center will be a national focal point for research and for a forum of women to exchange ideas, thoughts, and dreams. Women from across the U.S. and the globe will look to the center for cutting-edge thought, dialogue, and research. the bar will be raised on expectations for substantive research leading to progress in resolving the issues and removing the barriers that have prevented women from moving more quickly into positions of leadership in communications, organizations of communication or operations, and communications education. As we celebrate this opening, we look forward to what the center can accomplish and what it will symbolize to women and to men. Women can and are qualified leaders who have skills to achieve excellent results and progress successfully through the ranks while pursuing a consistent and persistent approach to leadership. The center's approach to mentoring, research, leadership, teamwork, and personal growth will enable women to have the courage and confidence to tackle tough issues. We see men joining in this research and discussion and problem solving on issues of importance to the advancement of women in roles as distinguished leaders in communication and influencers in the profession. In our shrinking world, we find we are more alike than different from our sisters in communications, whether it's next door or around the world. The center can bring the best academic and professional minds from across the world together. And using that, doing it by latest technologies, we can broaden the scope of the center. Women at different stages in their communications career, as well as FIU students and faculty, will benefit from the center's work. That work has already begun, as we heard a few minutes ago, and it will increase with the beginnings of new research and webinars, to workshops, lectures, panel discussions, advisory boards, and programs that will empower women to engage in professional growth. Lillian's leadership and mentorship of women and students has been impactful beyond the academy and professional arenas that we recognize this afternoon. Through teacher and student workshops on campus and at regional, state, and national meetings for scholastic and community college journalists, advisors, K-12 leaders, Lillian has championed the adoption of the highest standards of journalism and professional ethics and exercise of First Amendment rights. Many of those teachers and students in her workshops, conference sessions, and classes have gone on to study and pursue media careers. 2 of her students have won Pulitzer Prizes for their reporting. At the center, on professional and academic concerns with undergraduate and graduate students, it should encourage and support those who teach and those who learn in scholastic journalism also. Professionals sharing skills and time with student journalists in classes and mentoring situations can have life-changing impact. The center can keep an eye on ways to connect with today's and tomorrow's youth, just as Lillian has done throughout her career. My charge to you this afternoon is to act quickly, to take leadership on the issues that present barriers to success of women in communication, especially those in the nation's newsrooms. Achieving equality in the marketplace is the goal. Women have outnumbered men enrolling and graduating in journalism school since 1977. Today, women compose slightly more than a third of newsroom staffs in the US and 40% around the world. But less than a third of these women are in any role directing others. In a recent survey of 175 heads of US journalism and communications schools, 77.6% of the survey respondents identified their gender. Slightly less than 1/3 were female. A snapshot of the status of women in communications indicates that the center will have a busy agenda from the very beginning. At National Public Radio, women are leaders at NPR, 3 of the 5 major shows are hosted by women, and women are in network leadership. However, in 2010, of the 12 paid commentators who are regularly on NPR, only 1 was female, Cokie Roberts. On Sunday morning public affairs shows, such as Meet the Press, in 2010, fewer than 14% of those folks on the shows were women. In 2008, Media Matters reports fewer than 33% of cable news guests were women. The 4th Global Media Monitoring Day in 2009, which polled 130 countries of major media outlets, found fewer than 19% of women were represented as experts, and fewer than 18% were female spokespersons who appeared on the news. The American Society of News Editors reported in 2011 that women comprised less than 1/3 of the full-time employees in daily newspaper newsrooms. And women on leadership tracks, also in things like sports, 6%, fewer than 11% of radio news directors, 25% of all positions in television, and 16% of all positions in film. No one really has an upper hand. In 2012, the Women's Media Center reported that less than 25% of the presidential election coverage was written by women. Women journalism graduates are migrating towards PR, advertising, marketing, and finance, because there are more positions and opportunities for them, according to a 2011 Cox Center for International Mass Communication Training and Research report. Since the Pulitzer Prizes in journalism began in 1917, there have been 814 winners. There have only been 113 of those as women. 13.9% have been awarded to women. The majority of those have been awarded since 1988, and many of them have been team awards, not singular awards. Many women in leadership of news media operations today came to their leadership positions from other roles. For example, Gracia Mattori, who is the president and chief executive officer at the Gannett Company, was a long-term financial executive at Gannett. When USA Today started, Kathy Black, an advertising executive, became the publisher. In most cases, women in leadership positions are not coming from the newsrooms, but are coming from advertising, marketing, and finance. The Lillian Lodge Kopenhaver Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication will not lack challenging questions and many opportunities to address them. Perhaps a priority might be tackling these questions. What are the best pathways to top leadership positions at today's and tomorrow's communication organizations? How do we prepare women to change the leadership and influencer equation and improve equity for them in the marketplace at a more rapid pace? The center is Lillian's dream, to provide opportunities for women in communications and to become doers, leaders, and role models now and for those who follow. Today, that dream becomes a reality. A priceless gift to women now and for the future. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Very nice speech. Actually, we have to make sure that we publicize that speech because I think it's really, we need to see those numbers and that information out there. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Please enjoy the refreshments we have in the back. Socialize, talk to each other. Don't forget to grab one of the flyers on the way out. We want you to be also a messenger and get the word out there about the center and the work that we are doing and we are going to do. Thank you again for being here and enjoy. Thank you.